This is exercise 1A, question number 1. Solve by factorization. Let me solve its part A first. I can see that the coefficient of x squared is 1. So I need to multiply this with the constant term, which is negative 10. So the answer is negative 10. Okay. Now I need to choose the factors of 10, which when added and subtracted may produce positive 3, and their product should again be producing negative 10. Since the factors of 10 are either 1 and 10 or 2 and 5. Now, if you just add them, you get 11. And if you subtract them, you get 9. 10 minus 1 is 9. So, in both the cases, I do not get the middle term 3. So, that is not equal to 3. So, I am discarding this pair. Okay. Now, what about 2 and 5? If you add them, 5 plus 2, obviously you get 7. But when you subtract them, 5 minus 2, you get 3. Yes, that equals to 3. So that might be the case. But before correcting it or before choosing it, I need to get the second condition fulfilled as well. I choose one factor to be positive 5 and the other factor to be negative 2. The product is negative 10 as was required. Okay. So my factors are 5 and 2. One thing that I need to clarify here is uh, that the factors that you choose, like 5 and 2, the larger of those factors, which is in this case is 5, must be containing the same sign as the middle term. Since middle term is containing positive sign, so my larger factor, which is 5, should contain positive 5. So let me write it like this, plus 5x. Now, to have positive 3 from this 5, obviously I need to subtract 2. So automatically this factor 2x should contain a negative sign with it. So now grouping them like this, I can take x common from the first two factors and I'm left with x minus 2. And from the second pair, I can take 5 common and I'm left with x minus 2. So because in an equation, only once we can use the equality sign. So that's why that implies. Now you can see very easily that x minus 2 is occurring common in these two terms. So I can take x minus 2 common. From the first term, I'm left with x. And from the second term, I'm left with plus 5. So this is the factorization. Since I had to solve them, solving means to take out the values of the variable. So as you know, this property that if the product of two numbers is 0, that implies that either one number is 0 or the other number b is 0. So in this case as well, applying the same rule, I can see that the product of these two is 0. So that would mean either x minus 2 equals to 0 or x plus 5 equals to 0. So that will give me x equals to 2. And solving this equation, I can have x equals to negative 5. So these are the values of the variable x. So our part A has been solved. Now it's part B. In the same way, I can have x squared plus 12, the same. The coefficient of x squared is 1. So 1 times positive 12 in this case, which is positive 12. Now I need to find out the factors of 12. Factors of 12 are 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. Okay. I need to have the middle term to be negative 7. Subtracting 12 and 1, you get 11. And adding them, you get 13. So this might not be the case. Okay. Let's check it out. The second option of the factors, adding 2 and 6, you get 8. And subtracting them, you get 4. So you do not get the middle term, which is 7. So I need to neglect this one. But in this case, 3 plus 4, that can be 7. Okay. Yes. So that might be my choice. Okay. Now, secondly, I need to see that middle term has got negative sign with that. So the larger of these two is 4. So 4 should contain a negative sign with it. Negative 4. To have negative 7, obviously I need to subtract 3 so that I can get negative 7. And what about their product? Negative 4 times negative 3. That will give me positive 12. Yes, I can have both the conditions fulfilled. So my choice of the factors is negative 4 and negative 3. Negative 4x, negative 3x. Now, in this case, the order of these does not matter. Whether you write negative 3x first and then negative 4x or the other way around. Because we know that addition is commutative. So that's why. Okay, now combining these two, I can have x taken common. So x minus 4. And then combining these two, 3 and 12. So negative 3 can be taken out as a common factor. X would be the same. And then obviously 3 fours are 12. Now in between, this is positive 12. And outside, I've already taken a negative sign common. So this positive would change to a negative sign. So now at this stage, I need to observe that x minus 4 is coming as a common factor from these two terms. So I can take it common. X minus 4. From the first term, I'm left with x. And from the second term, I'm left with negative 3. So again, using this rule, either x minus 4 equals to 0 or x minus 3 equals to 0. The value of x is 4 in this case, and the value of x in this case is 3. So that completes the solution to part B as well. Now it's part C. Again, x squared has got a coefficient 1. So 1 times negative 16. The answer is negative 16. And the factors of 16 now, which are 1 times 16, 2 times 8, 4 times 4. I need to have negative 6. So adding 4 and 4, that is 8. That is not equal to negative 6. So I discard this. Same goes with this. Adding 16 and 1, I cannot get 6, or subtracting them, I cannot get 6. So my choice could be 2 and 8. Obviously, 8 minus 2 would give me 6. But since the middle term has got a negative sign, so I must have negative sign with the larger factor, which is negative 8. And to balance it out, I need to have plus 2 so that I can get negative 6. Now, When I multiply negative 8 by 2, what do I get? I get negative 16. So this is like this. Yes, both the conditions are fulfilled. So my choice of the factors is negative 8 and 2. Okay, let's solve it now. X square minus 16 equals to 0. And for the factors, let me choose this color. I can have negative 8x plus 2x. And now grouping them together, this with this. From this, the first group, I can take x common, and then I'm left with x minus 8 plus 2 taken common from the second group, and then x minus, obviously, 2, 8 times 16. So x minus 8 equals to 0. Now these are the two terms having x minus 8 as a common factor, this one and this one. From the first term, I'm left with x, and from the second, I'm left with plus 2. So again, now using the property x minus 8 equals to 0 or x plus 2 equals to 0, that will give me x equals to 8 or x equals to negative 2. So I've solved this given equation by factorization. So that was part C. Now part D. Okay. The coefficient of x square is 5 and the constant term is 12. So 5. 5 times 12 is 60. And now I need to have the middle term to be 19. So the factors of 60 are 1 times 60 or 2 times 30 or 3 times 20 or 4 and 15. Okay. Since I need to have 19, uh, having a positive sign, middle term has got a positive sign. So the larger factor should get a positive sign with it. And obviously from this positive 15 to get positive 19, that means I need to add 4 into that. So both the factors 4 and 15 must contain positive sign with them. So yes, these are my factors. Okay, now let's start solving the question in part D. 5x square plus 12 equals to 0. So for the middle term, I should have plus 15x, this one, and then this one, plus 4x. And now pairing them up, the first pair will give me 5x as a common factor. From this x square, I am left with 1x. And from this 15x, 5 3s are 15. And then x has already been taken common here. So x plus 3 would there be inside the brackets. So from the second group now, 4 can be taken common. X can be left with from the first, and then plus 3 equals to 0. So I can have x plus 3 taken out as a common factor from these two. From the first, I'm left with 5x. And from the next, I'm left with 4 equals to 0. Now again, using that rule, if the product of two factors is 0, that means either of the factors is 0. So x plus 3 equals to 0 or 5x plus 4 equals to 0. From here, I can have x equals to negative 3. And from here, I can have this and this. So these are the solutions to part D. Now it's the turn of part E. Let's first of all rearrange it. I've taken these two terms on the right side. So now again, I'll be adopting that procedure. First of all, I can see that nothing can be taken as a common factor from these three. So I can straight away start working like 6 times negative 20 is negative 120. Now the factors of negative 120 to yield 7. Okay, factors of 120. 1 times 120, 2 times 60, 3 times 40, 4 times 30, 5 times 24, 6 times 20, then it is uh, for, since I need to have 7, so I'm looking for a factor that could give me 7. So 15 and 8. Okay, positive 15 minus 8. That would give me positive 7. So yes, okay. And their product positive 15 times negative 8. That would give me negative 120. So both my conditions are fulfilled. So I have digged out the factors to be positive 15 and negative 8. So let's solve them like this. And now this is negative 8x plus 15x. Grouping them and grouping them together. 2x can be taken common. And then I'm left with 3x minus 4. And from these two, I can have 5 common. So this is 3x minus 4 equals to 0. Now I can have this factor as a common factor. Then from the first term, we are left with 2x. And from the second term, we are left with plus 5. So either 3x minus 4 equals to 0 or 2x plus 5 equals to 0. So in this case, we are having x equals to 4 by 3. And in this case, negative 5 by 2, which is negative 2.5. And this is 1.33. So these are the values of x. Or in fractions, you can have negative 2 whole 1 by 2. And this could be written as 1 whole 1 by 3. So that completes solution to part E. Now it's part F. In this, first of all, I need to have a bit of simplification. X times 10x, that is 10x squared. X times negative 13. Negative 13x equals to 3. Now let me shift this 3 to this side. Okay. Now, nothing common in these three except 1. So I would straight away start working like this. 10 times negative 3. This is 10 and this is the negative 3. This is negative 30. So factors of 30 are 1 and 30, 2 and 15. Okay, since I need to have negative 13, so the larger term should get negative sign with it, and times positive 2. That will give me negative 30 again, and negative 15 plus 2. That will give me negative 13 as the middle term. So yes, these are the required factors. So let's simplify now. 10x squared, the first term would be the same. The last term would be the same. This middle term now can be broken down to negative 15x and then 2x. Now grouping them together, from the first two, I can have 5x taken as a common factor. So I'm left with 2x from the first term and then minus this one. 5 3s are is 15, so 2x minus 3 plus from these two, I can only take out 1 as a common factor. So 2x would be the same and minus 3 would be the same. Now I need to see that 2x minus 3 can be taken as a common factor. From the first term, I'm left with 5x, and from the second, I'm left with plus 1 equals to 0. So now having their product equals to 0, I can have either the first factor equals to 0 or the second factor 5x plus 1 equals to 0. From here, I can have x equals to 3 by 2, and from here, I can have x is equal to negative 1 by 5. So that can give me 1 whole 1 by 2 and negative 1 by 5. So that completes part F as well. That was question number 1.